Last Monday night, I was brushing my teeth around 11:15. Just got back from work. I had a podcast playing on my phone. It was sitting on the washing machine, right next to where I brush my teeth. Then everything started shaking. For a second, I thought the vibrations were coming from my washing machine. I thought, wait, am I doing laundry right now? Did I start the washing machine? No. Then I realized, earthquake. The whole apartment was swaying, like a being on a boat. Turns out, it was a 7.5 magnitude near Aomori Prefecture. The shaking went on for like 30 seconds. And even here in Tokyo, over 600 kilometers away, you could feel it pretty strong. So I'm just standing there with a toothpaste foam still in my mouth, watching my apartment sway. And I had this thought, if something actually bad happened right now, who would I even call? My family's on the other side of the planet, and my friends here, we're building those connections. But you can't just move somewhere and have a emergency level friendship right away. You're in this massive city with 40 million people. It's the safest place I've ever lived. Everything works perfectly, but you can still feel really alone sometimes. It's not anyone's fault. It's just what happens when you move somewhere completely new. Rush hour on the trains still gets me. You literally can't move your arms. There is people on all sides of you, and it's complete silence. Nobody talks, nobody looks at each other. Everyone's just staring at their phone or at nothing. First few times I thought, okay, this is kind of nice. Everyone's being respectful. But now, after months of this every single day, I don't know, that silence feels weird. Sometimes I look around thinking like, is this normal for everyone? And yeah, it is. This is just how train works here. You don't talk. You don't make noise. Makes sense, actually. Millions of people use these trains. So if everyone was talking, it would be chaos. But you're physically touching someone, standing right next to them. And there is zero connection happening. Nothing. Before I moved here, people told me Tokyo gets lonely. And I was like, what are you talking about? There are people everywhere. Now I get it. You're never actually alone, but somehow you still feel lonely. There is this stat I saw from last year. Around 40% of people in Japan say they feel lonely at least sometimes. 40%, almost half. When I first saw that, I thought that cannot be right. But now, yeah, I get it. You're surrounded by people all day. At work, on trains. Everywhere you go, there are people. Then you get home, it's just you. Silence. And all those interactions you had during the day were surface level. Polite transactions, and nothing actually deep. The first couple of months here were rough for me. Some nights I'd be lying there thinking if something bad happened right now, who would even know? My family's halfway around the world, and friends here are not at that level yet, where you would call them in an emergency. There is also this cultural thing where you're supposed to handle your problems quietly. Don't burden other people. Figure it out yourself, which works fine until you actually need somebody. Sometimes I feel guilty even thinking about it, because I choose to move here. So I shouldn't complain, right? Japan even created a Minister of Loneliness position a few years ago. That's how serious it got. The loneliness here is real. Making friends here is different. Japanese people are incredibly kind, really helpful. You get lost and someone will help you. Need something and people go way out of their way. But close friendship, that's kinda tricky. There are groups here. School friends, hobby friends, childhood friends, and so on. The groups don't really overlap much, and the childhood friends come first. The people you grew up with and went to school with for years, those friendships matters the most. You can join groups as a foreigner. People are welcoming. They will include you, hang out with you, But getting into someone's actual inner circle, that takes years. Might not happen at all. Nobody's being rude, it's just different. Plus, everyone's so busy, long work hours. After work, drinking session with coworkers, family stuff, and other commitments. Even when you do connect with someone, actually meeting up becomes this whole scheduling thing. People plan weeks in advance here. You can't just text someone, wanna grab a dinner tonight? No way. There is also this unspoken rules I'm still figuring out. When to be formal, when you can be casual, how fast you're supposed to get close to someone. All of that. I'm not saying it's impossible. Just takes way longer than I expected, and it was completely different. But look, there are good things too. I dropped my wallet a while ago. Didn't even know where, but I heard stories about people finding lost stuff at train station or police stations. I figured I'll check. Went to the station, they looked it up on their computer, and there it was. Everything still in it. Cash, cards, and everything. That just doesn't happen in most places. Tokyo is safe in ways you don't expect. If you walk through random neighborhoods at midnight, it's quite clean and nobody bothers you. And you can do that anywhere here. Trains are always on time, like always. You will never wonder if you actually make it to somewhere. Even cheap food is good here. I'm not talking about chains, real restaurants where you can get a nice meal for 800 yen. And the vending machines have both hot and cold drinks. So winter morning, freezing outside, you can get hot coffee from a machine on the street. Sounds small, but when you're cold, it's actually really nice. Spring comes and cherry blossoms cover everything, and the whole street's lined with them. And during autumn, the leaves turn deep reds and orange. It's really beautiful, and nobody's aggressive either. No road rage, no random yelling on the street. Everything's just calm. Customer service here isn't just polite. People genuinely seem to care about doing their job well. The attention to detail is something you can see. When things break, they get fixed properly. The system works, and earthquakes happen pretty often, but most are small. Buildings are designed for it, so people barely react. You feel the shaking, wait for it to stop, then go back to whatever you are doing. Everything's organized. Things actually work the way they're supposed to. So sometimes that's exactly what you actually need. Even with all that, I will always be the outsider here. Sometimes it's kind of funny. I will order something and the person get this surprised look on their face. Jozu in Japanese, with a big smile. I just said I wanted a hot coffee. I went to this izakaya a few weeks ago with my colleagues. Not a touristy place, just a normal place near the office. Waitress comes around with a chopstick for everyone, comes to me and puts down fork and knife. Didn't ask if I needed them, just assumed. One of my colleagues noticed and kind of laughed about it, but yeah. I know this guy who's been here about 8 years. He told me he went to open a bank account and the staff kept asking, "But do you understand Japanese?" He would answer them in Japanese. They would switch to English and ask him again, like they just couldn't believe it. My colleagues are nice. They invite me to things, but there is always this question, are we actually friends? Or are they just being polite? Hard to tell the difference. Sometimes you can live here your whole life and you'll still be the foreign guy. Not in a mean way though, that's just how it is. Some days I don't think about it, other days it feels heavy. I know people living in 15 square meter apartments, studios barely bigger than a parking space. They can't stretch their arms out without touching both walls. Mine's tiny too, still tiny, but better than what some of my friends deal with. Every morning I push my futon up against the wall because otherwise there is no floor space, nowhere to walk around. The whole room's just bed. The whole room's just gonna be a bed. Storage becomes this whole thing. I have hooks everywhere on the walls for bags and clothes, and stuff stuck in the closet as high as it will go. Everything needs its exact spot, or nothing fixed. I actually like having friends over, but the space makes it complicated. I cannot fit chairs or sofa or anything like that, so we just sit on the floor in a circle. That's the only way to fit everyone. It works okay, but yeah, it's tight. I started noticing apartment buildings differently when I walk around outside. I will look at one and think about whether it has a balconies, or if it looks old enough that the walls are probably thin, or if it's one of the newer one with a better heating. I have a friend who keeps all her clothes in a suitcase under her bed because there is no closet, and another guy I know uses the top of his fridge as his kitchen counter. That's his only counter space. Someone told me they have to bend their knees when they shower because the bathroom ceiling is so low. I'm not exaggerating, that's real. So you get used to living with less. There isn't really a choice. Space is what gets me most. Not just apartment size, the whole concept of space. Room to exist without people everywhere. Trains, streets, stores, always crowded. You can't really escape from it. And then there is the train schedule. My entire life revolves around them. Like when the last train leaves, when rush hour is, which line to take, and everything. Spontaneous hangout too. Everything needs to be planned weeks ahead. You schedule something for 3 weeks from now, then it gets postponed. Reschedule for another 2 weeks out, then that gets cancelled. Suddenly, it's been 2 months since you actually saw that person. Feeling normal, being able to walk around and just another person, here I stand out. Always noticed. And some days I just want to blend in. Joking around is impossible here. Like actually joking, making sarcastic comments, and that kind of thing. Everything's so polite. People take things literally. Try to make a joke and they will laugh politely, but you can tell they don't really get it. Being able to complain without guilt. Everyone thinks I'm living some amazing adventure. So when people ask how Tokyo is, I just say, great, as if I've not been feeling pretty isolated. There is pressure to make it seem worth it, since I choose this. Like, I'm not allowed to struggle. Some days, I miss feeling like I belong somewhere, not visiting, not being a guest, actually belonging. But it feels like I don't have a home right now, floating between places, not fully here, not fully anywhere. Tokyo is imperfect, and living here is hard sometimes. The loneliness is real. Small apartments, unspoken rules, packed trains, always being noticed. A lot of Japanese people think foreigners living here are always out having adventures, like exploring the city and meeting people. The reality is different. Most days are just work, riding the train home, grabbing dinner from a convenience store, and going back to the apartment. Weekends are usually quiet, just a normal life. There is a gap between what I imagined and how it actually feels. Took a while to accept that. I spend a lot of time alone, but not in a bad way. Just quiet, different from what I imagined. But good things happen too. I found this ramen place that has become my regular spot. The guy behind the counter knows what I always go for. Small things like that matter. I'm still glad I moved here. This is home now. Complicated home though, but still home. My apartment, my neighborhood, the routes I take to work every day. I stopped waiting to feel completely settled, because maybe this is what settled looks like. I don't know if it gets either. Some days I feel good, some days I don't. Even when I'm lying there at night thinking about how far everything is, how not certain everything feels, I don't know. Part of me still feels like I'm supposed to be here, at least right now. Maybe not forever, but for now. Still learning. Still messing up the social rules and train schedules, and 100 other things I don't understand yet. I'm here though, in Tokyo, living alone, struggling sometimes, and okay other times, feeling lonely while also feeling like this is exactly where I should be. I guess nobody talks about this kind of stuff, but yeah, this is the reality. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I really appreciate your support. And please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you for your support.